The Curse of the Bourbons. In the shadowed halls of Versailles, long after the tourists had gone and the golden lights dimmed to silence, something ancient stirred. Claudine Rousseau had never believed in ghosts. A doctoral candidate in European history, she had spent years disentangling truth from superstition, myth from politics. Her research was focused on the Bourbons, France's most powerful and ill-fated royal family. She had been granted special permission to examine restricted archives buried beneath the palace. It was during one of these late-night sessions that she found the letter. Bound in weathered leather, wedged between financial records from Louis XVI's reign, it was unsigned and unsealed. The ink was faded but legible, its script elegant and trembling. To whomever dares read this, know this. The House of Bourbon is cursed. Betrayal born of blood has doomed us. Each king shall fall, each heir shall be haunted, until the debt of our sins is paid in full. We forge power in the shadow of the dead, and the dead have not forgotten. Claudine scoffed. Superstition, but her fingers tingled as she held it. She copied the contents carefully, made her notes, and returned the letter to its place. That night, she dreamed of fire and mirrors. A gilded room filled with people in masks. A pale boy on a throne of bones, and a woman with no eyes whispering in a tongue older than time. The days that followed grew strange. Mirrors distorted her reflection. Shadows shifted behind her when no one was there. In the archives, she found records that vanished when she tried to show them to her supervisor. Portraits of long-dead Bourbons seemed to smirk as she passed. She began to notice something else. Names. In every document, in every list, journal, and decree, there was always a name that wasn't supposed to be there. Jeanne Valette. It was written in margins, footnotes, even carved faintly into the spine of a 17th century folio. Claudine dug deeper. Jeanne Valette wasn't in any official history. Not a mistress, not a servant. Nothing, until she found the diary. It belonged to Louis XIV's confessor, Père Aumont, and was hidden in a false compartment of the chapel archives. Jeanne Valette was executed in 1673, it read. Burned for witchcraft beneath Versailles itself. The king believed she plotted against him, but I know she was wronged. She cursed him with her final breath, said the crown would be haunted, every heir chased by her shade. She called herself the Bride of Shadows. I fear what she summoned. Jeanne was real, and she had cursed the Bourbons. Claudine became obsessed. Her work suffered. She barely slept. Every whisper in the hall, every reflection in the glass seemed touched by Jeanne. She felt watched, followed, and then the dreams returned, vivid, painful. A palace lit with black flame, a crown melting in blood. Jeanne standing behind her, whispering. You opened the gate. Claudine awoke with nosebleeds and bruises she couldn't explain. One morning, she found a word scrawled in soot on her mirror. Ligny, bloodline. She traced Jeanne's ancestry, trying to understand the scope of the curse. What she found made her blood run cold. Jeanne had been pregnant when she died, and her child survived. The Bourbon line was not just cursed, it was entwined with hers. Somewhere, the blood of both ran in the same veins. And then, Claudine made the connection. Her mother's maiden name, Valette. The realization hit her like a thunderclap. She wasn't just researching the curse, she was part of it. Descended from Jeanne Valette, her blood carried the shadow of vengeance. And by opening the letter, by invoking the memory, she had reawakened the ancient wrath. The dreams grew worse. She was no longer a bystander. She stood in the throne room as Louis XVI wept, felt the guillotine's blade kiss his neck. She screamed with Marie Antoinette. She saw Napoleon crown himself emperor, while Jeanne's ghost watched from behind the drapes. The Bourbons had never ruled alone. They were always haunted, always hunted. Claudine's research turned desperate. She returned to Versailles night after night, searching for answers. Her skin grew pale, her fingers stained with ink and candle wax. She spoke less and less until her colleagues began to whisper. Then, she disappeared. A month passed. In the archives, the curator discovered Claudine's notebook. Her final entry was chilling. The curse cannot be undone. Jeanne does not seek justice. She seeks balance. A life for every crown, a soul for every throne. I hear her now, even waking. She wants to finish where she began. I'm a last key. When I vanish, the gate will close. If you find this, do not look further. Burn this. Seal the archives. Forget me. The authorities searched, of course. Cameras showed her walking into the archives, but never leaving. No trace was found, except for one thing. In the Hall of Mirrors, where kings once danced, a mirror had cracked overnight. At its center, burned into the silvering like acid, were two initials. JV. Versailles remains open. Tourists walk the halls. Historians write their papers. But sometimes, late at night, a shadow walks behind the glass. A woman in 17th century rags, with empty eyes and ash-stained fingers. And if you listen closely, you'll hear her whisper your name.